Hello everyone, my name is Griffin and we are back with another reaction video. This time we are reacting to the Critical Drinkers video called Snow White, How to Destroy Your Own Movie. Now this is about the Snow White live action movie that they're trying to make, which I don't think anybody will really watch. Because it's not Snow White. For anybody who's seen the original Snow White, this is not going to be Snow White. This is something completely fucking different. Honestly, I hope they cancel it, and I hope it never comes out. Because I've seen the original Snow White a few times, and this is not it. So, I mean, let's look at the person they got to play Snow White. How do they describe Snow White? Snow White is a lady with the skin as white as snow. They didn't even get that right. They couldn't even get the simplest thing right. Then what they did with the prince is completely fucking stupid. And they believe this whole thing with her trying to be this strong, independent woman who's trying to take back a kingdom or whatever the fuck she's trying to do. And it's just... It's not Snow White. It's a completely different movie. But let's get on with this video.
You know, sometimes in life you just can't catch a break, and it seems like everything you do to try to fix the situation only ends up pushing things from bad to worse to catastrophic. Like, I once saw a drunk guy stagger out of a late night takeaway with a kebab in hand, only to lose his grip on his prized lump of artery-clogging saturated meat and fumble to catch it before it fell to the ground, causing him to lose his balance and stumble face first into a plate glass window. And thinking about that poor unfortunate drunken soul who had to retreat home with no food, a bloody nose.
Oh, I would feel so horrible if I just lost my food like that. I mean, there was a time where I dropped my pizza side down out of the oven on the floor. I was so sad. I nearly cried. An entire pizza lost.
His bruised ego and the mocking laughter of me and my friends ringing in his ears, I'm reminded of Snow White actress Rachel Zegler, who seems to be single-handedly tanking the box office prospects of her multi-million-dollar movie, to the point where even industry
Exclusive branding experts warn Rachel Zegler backlash could ruin Disney's biggest budget Snow White remake, and predict executives will be having crisis talks in order to win back fans ahead of 2024 release. Yeah, I can't see that happening considering what Rachel Zegler is trying to fucking do to Snow White.
Experts are warning that she's rapidly turning into box office poison. See, one of the weird little side effects of the current Hollywood strikes is that there's not a whole lot of news and controversy coming out of Tinseltown right now, which has given the internet a bit more time to reflect on other things, like past interviews on the subject of Snow White that were largely ignored at the time, but have soon come back to haunt Disney and Rachel in recent weeks. And holy shit, have they provided fertile ground for backlash and mockery.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. I just mean that it's no longer 1937 and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
It's not Snow White.
And the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. Reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power.
I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid.
Honestly, they should just scrap the whole thing and just start from scratch. Get somebody to play Snow White that actually represents Snow White. Get people who can actually represent the Seven Dwarves. And actually make Snow White. Don't make this travesty of woke political bullshit that they're trying to make.
for every hour that it is streamed online.
But it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows?
Shite. 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 Oh, yes. That's shite.
No offense, Rachel, but you're making it pretty tough for people to like you. Now, I don't pretend to know what exactly was going on in her head when she said stuff like this. Maybe she was just a bit nervous and overwhelmed by all the attention and didn't know how to respond with the kind of slick, blandly diplomatic answers that a more experienced celebrity might have given. Maybe it's because she's young and idealistic and just blurted out the first thing that came into her head about the movie and the character. And so I don't really want to dump on her too much for all this controversy. Yeah, she's definitely creating the impression of a spoiled, entitled, narcissistic actor who totally doesn't appreciate the amazing opportunity she's been given. Yeah, her comments on the actors' strike were pretty poorly judged for someone getting paid more from one movie than most actors make in their entire lives. And yeah, the things she's saying about Snow White make it seem like the very antithesis of the animated classic that stood the test of time a lot better than her own movie's likely to. But really, when you get right down to it, she's just another dumb actor saying what she thinks people want to hear. The bigger problem is the studio culture that someone like Zegler represents, because you can bet your left arse cheek that most of these talking points were handed to her directly by the PR people at Disney. Yeah, she might not have phrased them in the most elegant way, but the sentiment they represent is dead on brand for a company that's become the studio equivalent of a snake eating its own tail, desperately cannibalizing their back catalogue of classic movies in an increasingly futile attempt to stay relevant. See, when it comes to their other live-action remakes of animated movies, they were generally smart enough to stay pretty quiet about the little changes they were sneaking in for modern audiences. Yeah, sometimes actors and writers would slip up and say a bit more than they were supposed to, and things got a bit more overt with Peter Pan and The Little Mermaid.
That was fun.
But for the most part, they were...
You know, honestly, if they're going to do these live action remakes, they need to stay true to the original cartoon. Don't add in any political bullshit, any woke bullshit, any of this dumbass shit. Stay true to the original story of the cartoon. The original story, the actual original story is a lot more fucking tragic. Now, if they want to do that, go right ahead. It's going to be pretty fucking gruesome, though. But, yeah, if you're going to make a live-action version of the cartoon, stay true to the fucking cartoon. Then you'll make a fantastic live-action version. But if you're not going to stay true to the cartoon and change a bunch of shit, then call it something else. Because then it is no longer the original thing. It is some abomination of something else.
Were content to pay tribute to the originals and market the remakes as respectful adaptations. Right from the off, though, they seem to have taken a very different approach with Snow White. It feels like they're making a concerted effort to cast the original movie as some horribly dated relic of a bygone era that we're all supposed to look back on and laugh at with the benefit of our modern, enlightened hindsight. Rachel certainly doesn't think much of it, and neither does Gal Gadot if their interviews are anything to go by. And ironically, there's something weirdly outdated now about turning the main character into this fanatically independent, power-hungry girl boss who doesn't need a man. It's the kind of talking points that were all the rage 5 or 6 years ago when this whole movement in Hollywood was still in its infancy, but that was then and this is now. The strong female lead isn't the fresh new concept it was back in 2016. In fact, even in the mainstream media, there's a growing acceptance that this kind of bland, superficial archetype has run its course, to the point where it's become kind of a meme.
Emily Blunt rails against strong female lead label. It's the worst thing ever, and I'm bored of it. Look, here's the thing. If you want a reference of a strong female character, I got a couple. Ripley from the Alien series. One of the most badass female protagonists of a movie. Another one, Alice from the Resident Evil series. She's badass. Lara Croft, the Lara Croft movies. She was badass. You do have actual badass female, strong female leads. But the ones we're making now, they're not strong female leads. They're just making the female characters as strong as they possibly can while demeaning the male characters. They're not making true strong female lead characters. They're not. I don't know what they're trying to make. It's some sort of abomination
in its own rights. Either way though, I can't help wondering, is this really the attitude you want to display towards one of the most beloved animated movies of all time? The one that literally made Disney what it is today? Do you really want to be seen shitting on the accomplishments of previous generations when your own efforts are probably never going to reach the same heights of cultural influence? Because at a certain point, it really just comes across as a jealous, envious attempt to drag down other people's work rather than elevating your own. As Mahler so aptly put it in one of his videos, this isn't a passing of the torch, it's a torching of the past. It's a deliberate attempt to rewrite history and destroy the legacy of the thing you're so desperate to supplant, while conveniently forgetting that there's a reason movies like Snow White have been enjoyed by generations of audiences. The stories they told are timeless and universal, instead of trying to catch the ever-changing winds of the political and social zeitgeist. They weren't written for modern audiences, they were written for every audience from the 1930s to the 2020s, and that's precisely why they worked so well. And as much as you and your friends might look down on them and mock them for not aligning with whatever fads and trends happen to be the current thing, the inconvenient truth is that they'll still be remembered long after your own lesser efforts have been forgotten. You are but a passing ripple in the pond of history, whereas they are history. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Go away now.
You know,
yeah, I mean, I don't understand why a lot of these movies, a lot of these people who are making these movies have to add in their own political views or have to add in this wokeness bullshit. All you're doing is demeaning the movie. Give us a movie with a good story, good, well-written characters, good acting and everything, and you'll do fantastic. Don't add in any of your political views. Don't add in any of this woke bullshit. Just make a good movie with good story and well-written characters. That's all you got to do to make a successful movie. And yet these people here just don't seem to understand that. They're so afraid of having backlash from writing actual good characters and good movies. They're trying to make everybody happy. Here's the thing. Not everybody's going to be happy. There's always going to be people who are upset, and, you know, who fucking cares what the Karens think? You know, they can all fuck off. Just make a good movie. That's all you got to do. You're going to upset people whether you like it or not. It's just how things are. I would like to see a live action Snow White. An actual Snow White live action. Not the abomination that Zegler and Godot are trying to fucking make. That live action will probably be worse than Avatar: The Last Airbender live action. That was the worst live action adaptation of a cartoon I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. The only cool thing about that movie were how they did the tattoos on Aang. That's it. But yeah, they're going to destroy this once beloved cartoon. Still a beloved cartoon. So, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If there are any other videos you'd like to see me react to, please make sure to comment them down below or over on my Discord page. I do have a channel on Twitch that I stream to every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please go make sure to check out that, give me a follow, and hang out with me whenever I stream. Links to everything will be in the description below. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.